the hike in students' fees. And we've seen quite a number of university students protesting. Students of the University of Lagos, University of Jos, Obafemi Awolowo University. And in most of these cases, what you have found is that maybe for the faculties in the humanities, the school fees may have been increased from maybe 28,100 naira to 120,000 naira. And for sciences and medical students and faculty of pharmacy, maybe to about 190,000 naira. And parents and students are saying, no, this must not be increased because the right to free education is constitutional. Is the right to free education constitutional? Should the federal government of Nigeria bear the burden of the payment of fees for students at the tertiary level?
Well, in the first place, these protests remind me of the Ali Must Go protests of 1978. I was privileged as an undergraduate, my first year in the university, to have taken part in that historic protest. And I think the argument then and now is that the Nigerian state has no right to commercialize education. Education is so basic. And that is why it is enshrined in Section 18 of the Constitution that the Nigerian government will provide free education, affordable education from primary to university level. However, as and when due. But the students are saying, we believe we have enough resources in the country. If the government can prioritize its programs to be able to fund education adequately. Now, you are asking whether the body should be borne by the government. Of course, it is the responsibility of the government to invest in education so that our human resources can be developed. And that is the whole lesson. My own worry now is that whereas our country is training young people, right? They are trooping out of the country after graduation. And the government doesn't seem to be bothered. How can you spend money to train your own citizens only to allow them to serve other countries? If I were in the government, I would have said, okay, the British government, the United States government, Saudi Arabian government, our young people are coming to your country, you are recruiting nurses and teachers, pharmacists and others here. Can we sit down and, so that you can also give back? Because it's very expensive to train a medical doctor in the United Kingdom or in the United States. Now, they have been trained here. Now, how can our country allow them to go out and serve other countries? So those are the issues the government will have to address. The other point is, in 1992, ASU fought and won a battle to tax all employers of labor. All companies are required to contribute 3% of their profit, by way of education tax. But how many companies are paying the tax? Those are the issues to address. Only an infinitesimal number of companies, pay the tax. So for me, these are the issues. Let us look at, and then for the universities, are there jobs? Are there jobs that can be executed by the respective faculties instead of giving out jobs to contractors? So the government will have to really think outside the box in funding education. But it is the responsibility of the government. And now that the economy is in crisis, how do you expect the children of the poor to access education? How?
Okay, but
I know many people in government, majority of the people in government would not have been able to acquire university education if education had been commercialized during their school days.
But Mr. Falano, isn't it the fact that some of these parents who are complaining about fees hike also send their children abroad to very expensive universities, civil servants, you know, ordinary people, and they are complaining about 120,000 naira, which is not even up to $200. If we may make that comparison.
You see, for a member of the elite, like your good self, or members of the bourgeoisie, 120,000 naira means little or nothing. It's not even enough to feed the dogs of many of these guys. But for the majority of our people, in a country where a government agency, such as the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, has said that 133 million Nigerians are phenomenally poor. And with the recent floating of the naira, removal of subsidy, the number has increased. So we are talking of the parents of those Nigerians who are today not less than 140 million. We're not talking of a few people who can afford to spend 10 million naira or more per annum to educate their children.
Well, another thing I wanted to ask, what do you think is the way forward? Because even the university authorities are saying that they cannot afford to sustain these federal universities at the rate of maybe 10 million, 11 million naira per month, which is the allocation that they get, even at the best of moments.
I have made a point. A lot of the allocation, some part of the allocation goes to the pocket of contractors. I mean, for instance, some of the first generation universities have departments of architecture, building departments, and the rest of them. So why are you not allowing the universities to put up structures in there? I mean, for even not just for themselves, also for other universities, or you know, to the members of the public. I know one. I think it was Tanzania. You know, under President John Magufuli, that insisted that universities should not go out to hold any seminar, and that government departments should even take advantage of the halls in the universities for seminars so that the universities can raise money. But what is important, as I said, the government has agreed that 3% of the profit of every company should go to funding of education. So we need to look at that. Secondly, under the UBE Act and UBE laws in each of the state, the compulsory free education